Our universe is a symphony of energy. It crackles within the heart of every star. It hums in the delicate dance of atoms. It vibrates in every thought, every emotion we experience. Yet, underlying this vast and complex tapestry, there is a hidden harmony, an unseen force that seeks balance and equilibrium, a force that connects us all. For centuries, philosophers and scientists have sought to grasp the nature of this force. They've explored the outer reaches of space and the inner depths of the mind. They've theorized, experimented, and debated. But the true nature of this universal balance has remained elusive until now. This is the story of one man's journey to unlock the secrets of this hidden harmony, a journey that takes him from the sterile confines of the laboratory to the ancient wisdom of forgotten texts, a journey that will challenge everything he thought he knew about the universe and his place within it. This is the story of Axzora. Dr. Harry Walker was a man obsessed, not with wealth, power or fame, but with knowledge. A brilliant physicist and philosopher, Harry had dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. His quest to understand the fundamental forces that governed the universe and the delicate balance that held everything together. Harry's colleagues often found him an enigma. While they focused their research on narrow, specialized fields, Harry's interests spanned physics, psychology, and even ancient spirituality. He saw connections where others saw only division, convinced that a single unifying principle underpinned the vast complexity of existence. This unorthodox approach had earned him both admiration and skepticism. Some saw him as a visionary, a modern-day Renaissance man poised to revolutionize scientific thought. Others dismissed him as a dilettante, spreading himself too thin and chasing after impossible dreams. But Harry remained undeterred, driven by an insatiable curiosity and an unshakable belief that he was on the verge of a groundbreaking discovery. Harry's quest led him down many paths. He devoured scientific journals, poring over the latest breakthroughs in quantum mechanics and astrophysics. He immersed himself in ancient philosophical treatises, seeking wisdom in the words of Plato, Lao Tzu, and the Buddha. And in a dusty corner of a forgotten library, he stumbled upon a collection of ancient manuscripts that would change the course of his life forever. The manuscripts, written in a language Harry could barely decipher, spoke of a universal energy called Axzora. Axzora, they claimed, was the source of all creation, the force that held the cosmos in perfect balance. It flowed through everything, connecting all things, animate and inanimate, in a web of interconnected energy. At first, Harry dismissed the manuscripts as mere mythology, the product of a pre-scientific worldview. But as he delved deeper, he was struck by the strange resonance of the ideas. The concepts of Axzora, though expressed in the language of myth and metaphor, seemed to align with his own intuitions about the universe. Could these ancient texts hold the key to unlocking the secrets he had been searching for? Harry resolved to find out. The manuscripts, filled with cryptic symbols and faded diagrams, presented a formidable challenge. Harry, accustomed to the precise language of mathematics and scientific equations, found himself struggling to decipher their meaning. The ancient script seemed to dance before his eyes, hinting at a profound wisdom hidden beneath layers of symbolism and allegory. Determined to unlock their secrets, Harry immersed himself in the study of ancient languages and forgotten scripts. He spent countless hours in libraries and museums, consulting with linguists and archaeologists, piecing together the fragmented knowledge of a bygone era. The task was daunting, but with each passing day, the symbols began to reveal their secrets. Gradually, a sense of awe and excitement grew within him. The manuscripts, he realized, were not merely philosophical musings or religious texts. They were, in essence, a scientific blueprint, a guide to understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. The ancient authors, though lacking the language of modern science, possessed an intuitive understanding of the universe that was both profound and deeply humbling. Harry's initial skepticism gave way to a sense of wonder as he delved deeper into the ancient wisdom. He began to see connections between the concepts described in the manuscripts and his own scientific knowledge. The ancient idea of a universal energy, for instance, resonated with his understanding of quantum fields and the interconnectedness of all things. The manuscript spoke of Axzora not as a static force, but as a dynamic equilibrium, a constant dance between opposing energies. It was the balance between light and darkness, creation and destruction, expansion and contraction. Axzora was the unseen conductor of the cosmic symphony, orchestrating the interplay of forces that gave rise to the universe and everything within it. This concept of balance resonated deeply with my scientific intuition. I'd always been struck by the inherent duality of the universe. In physics, it was the interplay of positive and negative charges that held atoms together. In biology, it was the delicate balance of ecosystems that allowed life to flourish. And in human psychology, it was the integration of light and shadow aspects of the self that led to wholeness and well-being. Axzora, I realized, was not merely an abstract concept. It was a fundamental principle woven into the very fabric of existence. It was the invisible hand that guided the evolution of galaxies, the growth of forests, and the beating of the human heart. It was the force that sought to restore equilibrium in times of chaos and to maintain harmony amidst constant change. This ancient wisdom offered a new perspective on my own scientific pursuits. It wasn't enough to simply observe and analyze the physical world. To truly understand the universe, one had to grasp the underlying principles of balance and interconnectedness that governed all things. Driven by this newfound understanding, I set out to translate the ancient wisdom of Axzora into the language of modern science. I sought to develop a mathematical framework, an Axzora equation that could quantify and predict the flow of this universal energy. My goal was not to control or manipulate Axzora, but to understand its principles and harness its potential for the betterment of humanity. I began by drawing parallels between the concepts described in the manuscripts and existing scientific theories. The ancient idea of a universal energy field, for instance, seemed to align with the concept of quantum fields proposed by modern physics. Similarly, the ancient emphasis on balance and harmony resonated with the principles of thermodynamics and systems theory. I spent countless hours in my lab surrounded by stacks of books, scientific journals, and scribbled notes. I conducted experiments, analyzed data, and refined my theories, constantly seeking to bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science. The task was challenging, often frustrating, but I remained undeterred, driven by the profound implications of my research. I knew that if I could successfully develop a scientific framework for understanding Axzora, it would have far-reaching implications for every field of human endeavor. It could revolutionize our understanding of energy, consciousness, and the interconnectedness of all things. It could lead to breakthroughs in medicine, technology, and even spirituality. The possibilities, it seemed, were endless. My laboratory pulsed with a frenetic energy. Electrical wires snaked across workbenches, connecting humming generators to flickering oscilloscopes. The air crackled with the scent of ozone as I meticulously adjusted a series of copper coils, my brow furrowed in concentration. I was no longer content with simply reading about Axzora. I needed to see it, to measure it, to understand its workings in the tangible world of physics. My initial experiments focused on the most fundamental of forces, electromagnetism. I knew that electricity, in its raw form, was a dance of positive and negative charges, a constant flow of energy seeking equilibrium. Could this be a manifestation of Axzora on a microscopic level? Could I, through careful manipulation of these charges, glimpse the hidden hand of the universal balance? Days turned into weeks filled with the methodical repetition of scientific inquiry. I carefully documented each experiment, recording minute changes in voltage, charting the ebb and flow of current, searching for patterns, for anomalies, for any hint that I was on the right track. My colleagues, witnessing my tireless efforts and increasingly unorthodox methods, shook their heads in amusement and concern, but I pressed on, driven by an intuition that I was on the verge of a breakthrough. One evening, as the sun cast long shadows across my cluttered workspace, I noticed something unusual. I'd been observing the interaction of two electromagnetic fields, carefully controlling their intensity and proximity. As I brought the fields closer together, expecting a predictable increase in electromagnetic force, I observed a sudden dip. a momentary drop in energy before the field stabilized into a new, unexpected equilibrium. Intrigued by this anomaly, Harry shifted his focus to the realm of biology. Life, he realized, was the ultimate expression of Axzora, a delicate balance of countless processes working in perfect harmony. He began to study living organisms with renewed vigor, observing the intricate dance of cells, the rhythmic pulsing of hearts, the complex interplay of organs and systems, all striving for equilibrium, for homeostasis. He immersed himself in the study of bioelectricity, the subtle electrical currents that flowed through every living being. Could these currents, he wondered, be a key to understanding how Axzora manifested in the biological world? Could he find evidence of this universal energy in the very pulse of life itself? His experiments took on a new dimension. He began to monitor the bioelectrical fields of plants and animals, using sensitive instruments to measure the subtle fluctuations in energy that accompanied their growth, their movements, their very existence. He observed how plants oriented themselves towards sunlight, how animals navigated using the Earth's magnetic field, how even the smallest organisms responded to changes in their environment, all the while seeking to maintain a delicate balance within themselves and with the world around them. Harry noticed a recurring pattern in his data, a subtle oscillation in the bioelectrical fields of living organisms, a rhythm that seemed to echo the ebb and flow of energy he had observed in his electromagnetic experiments. This rhythm, he began to suspect, was not merely a byproduct of biological processes, but a fundamental principle, a manifestation of Axzora itself, the pulse of the universe coursing through every living thing. As Harry delved deeper into his research, he began to see evidence of Axzora not just in moments of balance, but also in moments of imbalance. Just as a string could be tuned to resonate harmoniously or to create discordant noise, so too could living systems be aligned with or disrupted by the flow of Axzora. He hypothesized that illness, both physical and mental, could be understood as a form of disharmony, a disruption of the natural flow of energy within the body. He began to study the effects of external stimuli on bioelectrical fields, exposing organisms to various forms of energy, light, sound, even human emotion, and meticulously recording the changes in their bioelectrical patterns. He discovered that certain frequencies, certain patterns of energy, could amplify the natural rhythm of Axzora, promoting growth, healing, and a sense of well-being. Others, however, had the opposite effect, creating dissonance, disrupting the delicate balance of the organism and even leading to disease. This realization filled Harry with a sense of both awe and trepidation. If his theories were correct, then the implications were profound. It meant that the human body, the human mind, even human society itself were all susceptible to the influence of Axzora, for better or worse. It meant that by understanding the principles of this universal energy, humanity had the potential to heal itself, to achieve unprecedented levels of well-being, and to create a more harmonious world. But it also meant that the misuse of this knowledge could have disastrous consequences, leading to further imbalance, disharmony, and even destruction. Harry's journey into Axzora had led him from the vastness of the cosmos to the intricate workings of living cells. Now, his quest for understanding brought him face to face with the complexities of the human heart. If Axzora was truly a universal principle, he reasoned, then it must also play a role in the realm of human emotions, those invisible forces that could uplift us to heights of joy or plunge us into depths of despair. He began by delving into the burgeoning field of psychoneuroimmunology, which explored the intricate connection between the mind, the body, and the immune system. He pored over studies demonstrating how stress, a form of emotional disharmony, could weaken the immune response, making individuals more susceptible to illness. Conversely, practices like meditation and mindfulness, which promoted emotional regulation and a sense of inner peace, were shown to have a positive impact on both mental and physical health. His own experiences seemed to confirm these findings. When Harry was deeply engrossed in his research, his mind alight with curiosity and a sense of purpose, he felt a surge of energy, a vitality that seemed to permeate his entire being. But when he was stressed or discouraged, when his research hit a roadblock or he faced skepticism from his peers, he felt his energy dwindle, his body heavy, his mind clouded with doubt. Could these subjective experiences, he wondered, be understood through the lens of Axzora? Could emotions be seen as a form of energy flowing through the body, influencing not just our mental state but also our physical well-being? Section 2, Mindfulness, a Bridge to Balance. Driven by this hypothesis, Harry turned his attention to the ancient practice of mindfulness. He had always been drawn to meditation, finding in its quiet stillness a sense of peace and clarity that eluded him in the busyness of his everyday life. Now he began to explore mindfulness with a renewed sense of purpose, seeking to understand its effects not just on a subjective level but also through the lens of his scientific research. He began incorporating mindfulness into his daily routine, setting aside time each day to simply sit, breathe, and observe the flow of his thoughts and emotions without judgment. He paid attention to the sensations in his body, the gentle rise and fall of his chest, the subtle tingling in his fingertips. He noticed how certain thoughts, particularly those related to worry or fear, seemed to create a sense of constriction in his chest, a tightness in his shoulders. Conversely, thoughts of gratitude, joy, or love brought a sense of expansion, a lightness of being. As he continued his practice, Harry noticed a gradual shift within himself. He wasn't trying to suppress his emotions or force himself to be happy all the time. Instead, he was learning to observe his emotional landscape with greater awareness and acceptance, allowing both pleasant and unpleasant emotions to arise and pass without being swept away by them. He began to see mindfulness as a bridge to emotional balance, a way of aligning himself with the flow of Axzora in the realm of his own heart. Just as a skilled surfer could ride the waves of the ocean, harnessing their power without being overwhelmed by them, so too could he learn to navigate the ebb and flow of his emotions, finding a sense of stability and peace amidst the ever-changing currents of life. Section 3, Harmony in Relationships. Harry's exploration of emotional Axzora extended beyond his own internal world. He began to observe how emotions flowed not just within individuals but also between people, creating invisible bonds of connection or sparking conflicts that could disrupt the harmony of relationships. He reflected on his own relationships, the warmth and ease he felt in the presence of loved ones, the joy of shared laughter, and the comfort of mutual understanding. He also acknowledged the times when misunderstandings arose, when unspoken resentments festered, creating a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air. Could these interpersonal dynamics, he wondered, be understood through the lens of Axzora? Could the principles of balance and harmony, so evident in the physical and biological realms, also hold true in the complex and often messy world of human relationships? He began to pay closer attention to the subtle energetic exchanges that occurred during his interactions with others. He noticed how genuine expressions of empathy and compassion seemed to create a sense of warmth and connection, while judgments and criticisms, even if unspoken, created a palpable distance. He observed how acts of kindness and generosity seemed to uplift the energy of a room, while anger and resentment had the opposite effect, casting a pall over even the most light-hearted gatherings. Harry realized that just as individuals could cultivate emotional balance within themselves, so too could they consciously choose to interact with others in ways that fostered harmony and understanding. By approaching relationships with awareness, compassion, and a willingness to listen with an open heart, they could create a more harmonious and fulfilling experience for everyone involved. Section 1. The Call of the Silent Spaces. Harry's exploration of Axzora had led him on a fascinating journey through the realms of physics, biology, and human emotion. Yet, a persistent intuition whispered that something was missing, a deeper layer of understanding that lay beyond the reach of his scientific instruments and analytical mind. He felt a growing pull towards the realm of spirituality, a yearning to explore the invisible threads that connected him to something larger than himself. He had always been fascinated by the mystical traditions of different cultures, the ancient practices of meditation, yoga, and prayer that had been passed down through generations. He'd approached these practices with a healthy dose of skepticism, his scientific mind seeking empirical evidence for the profound experiences they described. But as he delved deeper into his research, he began to suspect that the scientific method, for all its power and precision, might be ill-equipped to fully grasp the nature of consciousness, the subjective experience of being alive, and the profound interconnectedness that seemed to lie at the heart of existence. He realized that the pursuit of Axzora was not just a scientific endeavor, but a spiritual one as well. It demanded not just his intellect, but also his intuition, his capacity for awe and wonder, his willingness to step outside the confines of his rational mind and embrace the mystery of the unknown. Beyond the veil of thought, Harry began to experiment with different forms of meditation, drawn to their simplicity and their promise of silencing the incessant chatter of his mind. He sought guidance from experienced practitioners, immersing himself in the teachings of various spiritual traditions, from Zen Buddhism to Sufism to Christian mysticism. He discovered that despite their differences in language and cultural expression, these traditions shared a common thread, a belief in a transcendent reality that lay beyond the realm of the senses, a source of wisdom and compassion that could be accessed through disciplined practice. At first, his attempts at meditation were met with frustration. His mind, accustomed to the rapid-fire analysis of scientific data, resisted the invitation to be still. Thoughts darted like fireflies in the night, distracting him from the present moment, pulling him back into the labyrinth of his own mental constructs. But gradually, with patience and persistence, he began to experience moments of stillness, brief glimpses of a quiet awareness that lay beneath the surface of his thoughts. It was as if he had discovered a hidden room within himself, a sanctuary of peace and clarity that had always been there, waiting to be discovered. In these moments of stillness, Harry felt a profound sense of connection, not just to his own inner world, but to something far vaster and more mysterious. It was a sense of belonging, of being held within a loving embrace that transcended his individual existence, dissolving the boundaries between himself and the universe around him. The universe within. As Harry deepened his meditation practice, he began to experience a profound shift in his understanding of Axzora. It was no longer simply an external force, a cosmic principle governing the interactions of matter and energy. It was also an inner reality, a fundamental quality of his own being, a source of wisdom, compassion, and creative potential that resided within the depths of his own heart. He realized that the ancient adage, "as above, so below," was not just a poetic metaphor, but a fundamental truth about the nature of reality. The same principles of balance, harmony, and interconnectedness that governed the movement of galaxies and the dance of subatomic particles were also at play within the human heart, shaping our thoughts, emotions, and relationships. Just as a single drop of water contained within it the essence of the entire ocean, so too did each individual consciousness contain within it the potential for awakening to the infinite. The journey inward, he realized, was not separate from the journey outward. They were two sides of the same coin, two expressions of the same fundamental quest for wholeness, for understanding, for union with the source of all being. Harry's scientific mind, once skeptical of such mystical pronouncements, now embraced them with a sense of awe and wonder. He saw the universe not as a cold, indifferent machine, but as a living, breathing organism imbued with consciousness, pulsating with creativity, and interconnected in ways that defied rational explanation. He realized that his own journey of discovery was but a single thread in the tapestry of existence, a testament to the infinite capacity of the universe to unfold its mysteries through the unique perspective of each and every being. The heart of Axzora. Harry felt a profound shift in his scientific pursuits. The pursuit of quantifying Axzora through an equation seemed almost absurd now. The energy wasn't something to be captured and controlled, but a harmonious dance to be joined. The equations on his whiteboard felt like a child's attempt to sketch the universe with a crayon. He realized the true heart of Axzora, resided not in complex formulas, but in the simple act of aligning one's self with its flow. It was in the quiet moments of mindful breathing, in the compassionate embrace of a loved one, in the awe-inspiring beauty of a sunrise. His laboratory, once filled with the hum of machinery, now resonated with a different kind of energy. The scent of incense replaced ozone, the rhythmic chanting of ancient mantras replaced the beeping of instruments. Harry began to explore how to bridge the gap between the scientific and the spiritual, to create a language that spoke to both the head and the heart. His research took on a new focus, exploring the impact of meditation and mindfulness on physical and mental well-being, studying the bioelectrical correlates of spiritual experiences, and investigating the role of intention and consciousness in shaping reality. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, not just to understand Axzora, but to embody it, to live a life that reflected its principles of balance, harmony, and interconnectedness. He knew this journey wouldn't be easy, but he was filled with a quiet confidence, a deep inner knowing that he was on the right path, walking a path illuminated by the radiant light of Axzora. The Circuit of Harmony. To share his evolving understanding of Axzora, Harry knew he had to bridge the gap between the abstract and the concrete. One evening, he gathered a small group of open-minded colleagues and students in his lab. The room, usually buzzing with the cacophony of scientific instruments, was unusually still, illuminated by the soft glow of a single lamp. He began by drawing a simple electrical circuit on the whiteboard, a battery, a wire, a resistor, and a light bulb. He explained how the battery represented a source of potential energy, the wire a conduit for the flow of electrons, the resistor an element of resistance, and the light bulb a manifestation of energy transformation. Harry, this circuit, he explained, is a microcosm of Axzora in action. The flow of electricity, like the flow of Axzora, seeks balance, equilibrium. The resistor, while seemingly an obstacle, is essential for creating the right conditions for the light to shine. He then invited his audience to participate in a simple experiment. He asked them to close their eyes, to focus on their breath, to cultivate a sense of inner stillness. He then slowly increased the voltage in the circuit, carefully adjusting the resistance to maintain a steady flow of current. As the light bulb grew brighter, Harry invited his companions to notice any sensations in their own bodies, any shifts in their energy levels. Some reported feeling a tingling in their hands, a warmth spreading through their chest, a sense of expansion and aliveness. Moving beyond the realm of physics, Harry guided the group into a simple mindfulness exercise. He invited them to bring their attention to the present moment, to notice the sensations of their breath, the feeling of their feet on the ground, the gentle sounds of the room around them. Harry, just as the resistor in the circuit helps to regulate the flow of electricity, he explained, so too can mindfulness help us to regulate the flow of our thoughts and emotions. By bringing our attention to the present moment, we create a space of awareness, a point of balance between the past and the future. He guided them through a series of deep breaths, encouraging them to notice any thoughts or feelings that arose without judgment, simply observing them as one might observe clouds passing by in the sky. He spoke of the importance of self-compassion, of recognizing that everyone experiences moments of stress, anxiety, and inner turmoil. As the group settled into a state of deeper relaxation, Harry introduced the concept of loving-kindness meditation. Harry, he invited them to bring to mind someone they loved dearly, to visualize that person surrounded by a warm, radiant light. He encouraged them to extend feelings of love and compassion to that person, wishing them happiness, peace, and well-being. He then guided them to gradually expand their circle of compassion, sending loving kindness to themselves, to neutral people in their lives, to people they found difficult, and finally to all beings everywhere. As the meditation drew to a close, Harry invited the group to step outside into the night air. The sky was ablaze with stars, a dazzling display of cosmic grandeur. A hush fell over the group as they gazed upwards, awestruck by the immensity of the universe. Harry, we've explored Axzora through the lens of physics and the lens of our own internal experience, Harry said, his voice soft but clear. Now, let's contemplate it in the context of something even grander than ourselves. He pointed to a distant constellation, shimmering like diamonds scattered across black velvet. Harry, each of those stars, he explained, is a sun, a fiery furnace generating unimaginable amounts of energy, and yet they are held in perfect balance, orbiting a common center, engaged in a cosmic dance that has been going on for billions of years. He invited the group to contemplate the vastness of space, the countless galaxies swirling through the cosmos, each a testament to the intricate interplay of forces that governed the universe. He spoke of the interconnectedness of all things, how the atoms in their bodies were forged in the heart of ancient stars, how the air they breathed, the water they drank, the very ground they stood on, were all part of a single unbroken web of existence. Harry, we are not separate from this cosmic dance, Harry said, his voice filled with awe. We are an integral part of it, expressions of the same universal energy that animates the stars and galaxies. And just as the stars are held in perfect balance by the invisible forces of gravity, so too are we held within a web of interconnectedness that transcends our limited perception. He invited the group to stand in silence for a moment, to feel the earth beneath their feet, to breathe in the cool night air, to sense the vastness of the cosmos surrounding them. As Harry looked around at the faces of his companions, he saw a spark of understanding, a glimmer of recognition in their eyes. The seeds of transformation had been sown. He knew that not everyone would embrace his ideas, that some would dismiss his work as unscientific, even heretical. But he also knew that he had touched something deep within those who had gathered that night, a yearning for connection, for meaning, for a way of understanding the universe and their place within it that went beyond the limitations of the purely rational mind. He had offered them a glimpse of Axzora, not just as a scientific concept, but as a lived experience, a path of awakening to the interconnectedness of all things, a journey of aligning oneself with the harmonious flow of the universe. And he knew that even if only a few chose to follow this path, it would be enough to make a difference, to ripple outwards, creating waves of healing, compassion, and understanding in a world desperately in need of balance. The journey of exploring Axzora was far from over. It was a path that unfolded with every step, revealing new mysteries, new challenges, and new depths of understanding that as Harry stood there under the vast expanse of the night sky, surrounded by his fellow seekers, he felt a deep sense of gratitude, a quiet joy in knowing that he was not alone on this extraordinary adventure. The quest to understand Axzora, he realized, was ultimately a quest to understand ourselves, to awaken to the infinite potential that lay dormant within each and every one of us, waiting to be discovered, to be nurtured, and to be shared with the world, with the once cluttered lab transformed into a serene space reflecting Harry's inner evolution, gone were the chaotic piles of research papers and the frenetic energy of late-night experiments. In their place stood a simple wooden desk adorned with a single blooming orchid and a meditation cushion placed upon the floor where complex machinery once hummed. Harry himself had undergone a visible transformation. The intense, almost frenetic energy that had once characterized him had softened, replaced by a quiet strength and a palpable sense of peace. His eyes, once focused on distant equations, now seemed to hold the depths of the cosmos within them, reflecting a deep wellspring of compassion and understanding. His colleagues, initially perplexed by his shift in focus, observed the change in him with a mixture of curiosity and cautious respect. They witnessed him navigate the challenges of academic life with a newfound grace and equanimity, responding to criticism not with defensiveness but with a calm clarity that disarmed even his staunchest detractors. His students, sensing his genuine passion for knowledge and his deep care for their well-being, flocked to his lectures and seminars, eager to learn not just the principles of science, but also the art of living a more balanced and meaningful life. Harry, once driven by a desire to prove the existence of Axzora, now seemed content to simply embody its principles, allowing his life to become a living testament to the transformative power of this universal energy. Word of Harry's work spread beyond the confines of academia, carried on the whispers of those who had been touched by his teachings. He received invitations to speak at conferences and workshops around the world, sharing his insights with doctors, therapists, educators, and spiritual seekers, all hungry for a new paradigm, a way of understanding the challenges of the 21st century through a lens of interconnectedness and balance. He spoke of the urgent need for humanity to rediscover its connection to the natural world, to heal the wounds of separation and division that had led to so much suffering. He shared practical tools for cultivating emotional resilience, for fostering harmonious relationships, and for aligning oneself with the flow of Axzora in everyday life. His message resonated deeply with a generation weary of conflict, disillusioned by materialism, and yearning for a more meaningful way of being in the world. People from all walks of life, scientists and artists, business leaders and social activists, parents and children, found inspiration in his words, a renewed sense of hope that a more balanced and harmonious future was possible. Harry knew that the journey towards a world infused with the principles of Axzora would be long and arduous. He recognized the deeply ingrained patterns of greed, fear, and separation that continued to drive conflict and suffering on a global scale. But he also witnessed the countless acts of kindness, courage, and compassion that were blossoming in every corner of the planet. Seeds of transformation planted by individuals who were choosing love over fear, connection over isolation, and harmony over discord. Harry never claimed to have all the answers, never positioned himself as a guru or a savior. He remained a student of life, his heart and mind open to new discoveries, his spirit humble in the face of the vast mystery of existence. He continued to explore the frontiers of science and spirituality, seeking to deepen his understanding of Axzora and to find ever more effective ways of sharing its transformative power with the world. He knew that the quest to understand Axzora was not a destination, but a journey, a lifelong adventure of awakening to the interconnectedness of all things, a continuous unfolding of the infinite potential that lay dormant within each and every one of us. He envisioned a world where the principles of Axzora were not just understood, but embodied, a world where science and spirituality danced hand in hand, where ancient wisdom illuminated the path to a sustainable future, and where the human heart, aligned with the heart of the cosmos, radiated compassion, creativity, and an unshakable belief in the possibility of a more harmonious and just world for all. Years later, long after Harry had taken his last breath, his legacy lived on. The seeds of transformation he had sown continued to blossom in the hearts and minds of countless individuals around the world. The concept of Axzora, once a fringe theory whispered in the hallowed halls of academia, had taken root in the collective consciousness, inspiring a global movement towards balance, harmony, and interconnectedness. Schools incorporated the principles of Axzora into their curricula, teaching children the interconnectedness of all living things and empowering them to become agents of positive change in their communities. Hospitals integrated mindfulness-based practices into their treatment plans, recognizing the profound connection between emotional well-being and physical health. Business leaders embraced sustainable practices, understanding that economic success depended on a healthy planet and a thriving society. And in countless homes, meditation cushions sat beside laptops, reminders of the importance of balancing the demands of the external world with the cultivation of inner peace. Harry's story, passed down from generation to generation, served as a timeless reminder that the power to create a more harmonious and just world resided not in external forces, but within the depths of the human heart, waiting to be awakened, nurtured, and shared with the world. The echo of Axzora reverberated through the tapestry of existence, a testament to the enduring power of one man's quest to unlock the secrets of the universe and to share its transformative light with the world.